Hi there, learners, and welcome to some more of our Term 3 modules. Today we're looking at Module 1.8, the impact of ICT. So we're going to be looking at how ICTs influence our lives and our lifestyles, the impact on the home office, on education, even on you as learners. And then, of course, we've always got to look at the negative, the computer criminals. So let's jump in. Now, we're talking a bit about how these ICTs influence our lives and our lifestyles. And yeah, you can see they influence the way we do our jobs. They influence, which stores we go to, how we watch photos, videos, how we store those photos and videos as well, how we entertain ourselves, where we shop, where we bank, how we communicate with others, and how we even interact with our friends. So many of you have grown up in this digital lifestyle. We call you digital natives. Many of us are not digital natives because we come from a time where we just wrote a letter or spoke on the phone or spoke in person, whereas now so much is done online. Now, speaking of that, when it comes to communication, how do we communicate? And I just mentioned one way. In the past, we would communicate face-to-face, we would write a letter, things like that. Whereas now there's communication via social networking, instant messaging, blogging and emailing. There are so many different ways in which we can communicate with someone. And this is why you're finding that because you can, as it's saying here at the bottom, never really switch off because people can always contact you, you're finding folks not wanting to be on social networking, or folks not wanting to be on some sort of email or instant messaging because they actually don't at times want to be contacted. So as much as this is a convenience that folks can be contacted, anytime, anywhere, you need to, for yourself, take time to actually switch off. Now, ICT does allow us access to a ton of information. I mean, we've got an overabundance of information. We can find it quickly. We can, determine, and we must determine if the source is reliable and analyze and summarize it accurately. Because it's one thing to find the information. It's another thing to verify the information. So, yes, I can email, I can go onto the internet, I can find information via SMS, cell phone calls, all these different things. But I need to also make sure that I determine that this is a reliable source. It's sort of like when somebody gossips. I know we don't entertain gossip, right? So when somebody comes to tell us something, we don't just accept it as truth. We verify the information. Or when somebody gossips, we just tell them, go away. Okay? But we try to verify the information before we act on it. Never act on information that you just receive. You never know whether it's the truth or not. And we always think before we act anyway. Now, ICT also plays and influences our lives on the leisure front. I mean, how do we enjoy movies? I mean, in the past, it was you have to go to the movies to actually go and watch a movie. Now you can do everything at home, on a tablet, on a cell phone. It's changed the way we listen to music, printed media via the internet. I mean, a lot of the printed media is sort of falling away, and we're finding more of these platforms going online. Video on demand, which means we get to watch what we want when we want it. Internet TV, online travel bookings, online computer games. I mean, it was crazy to think that years ago that you could play games online with people from around the world. It was unheard of. Today, it's common practice. Fitness programs in front of the TV with a gaming console, Nintendo Wii. Okay, crazy how it's influenced our lives on the leisure side of things as well. It has an impact on the home office because now ICTs allow us to type and edit documents at home. It helps us to keep track of accounts. It helps us to communicate with clients and suppliers, file and organize client data, and even advertise your products and services from home. We're finding a lot of people being involved in online businesses, digital businesses that have their platform fully on the internet. A lot of people, even via social media, TikTok, YouTube, etc., are running businesses from these platforms. What about school management? Well, there's ICTs, software to help create timetables, obviously produce exam papers, communicate with parents, calculate marks in a spreadsheet. So this is just showing you the different ways in which ICT is actually impacting, and it has an impact on these various sectors. I mean, even what teachers are using, data projectors, electronic whiteboards, lessons and worksheets, specialized programs for geographic information systems. Okay, there is so much out there that can be used and is being used by many out there today. What about how we get our information? It used to be through the library. You needed a library card. You needed to get to the library because that was the only place that had all that information in one place. Now we just get it from the internet. We can process data in Excel. We can type up neat assignments in Word. We can create diagrams using Paint, Smart Art, charts, all of these things. We can take photos and record interviews with smartphones. I mean, it is crazy the impact that ICT has had. And for most of you who are doing CAT as a subject, for you this is completely normal because this is how you live your daily lives. What about things like watching videos that explain how to do practical tasks in CAT, like Education with Mr. Hambury? Okay, using social networking sites to share with others on various projects. I mean, think about the fact that when you need an answer to something, at this point in history, if I can put it that way, we end up using two things. It's old Uncle Google. We ask Uncle Google, or we go to YouTube. And there's bound to be a video of somebody having done something along those lines, and we end up finding our answer. When it comes to education, I mean, this is why this platform is here for folks. When you CAT learners have a question with regards to the curriculum, all these types of things, you can go to Education with Mr. Hambury and you'll get your answer there. There are a number of teachers across the board that are doing this as well. So it has a massive impact on education. However, there is the negative side of things. And I'm just going to touch on two things. The first is internet addiction, which occurs when you find yourself using the internet constantly. Like you don't even have a reason for being on the internet. You're just there. Many become remote and withdrawn and very seldom go outside unless forced to do so. Now you need to be honest with yourself. Are you addicted to the internet? Some of you are addicted to your phones. Like you don't even know what you're doing on your phone, but you just need to have your phone with you. I've seen this increase in taking devices to the bathroom and wanting to go and go to the bathroom and go and sit and watch a half an episode of a series or a couple of videos or something like that. We're seeing that trend come through as well. So just watch yourself. Can you put the phone down and leave it there for at least an hour or two a day? Can you be without the internet? How do you feel when there's no Wi-Fi at home? Okay, that will tell you whether you're addicted or not. We've also, when it comes to internet addiction, you find that many people are spending more time online with friends, which, again, when you are playing online or you're dealing with people online, you're dealing with different time zones, it can end up disturbing sleep and eating patterns. Now, for some of you, you don't really care. It's okay. But it does have an impact when you are doing those things and you need to be in school or work the following day. Then there's a term called flaming, and I'm going to bring this in because I haven't seen it come through yet, but I'm just preparing you if it does. This term flaming happens when you send or receive an email that's designed to harass or bully online. Now, I know that all of you here, you do not bully online. You do not send emails like that to harass people. So thank you very much for that. It can also include setting up a blog or sending SMSs which deliberately set out to cause pain and suffering to the other person. Folks, we are fairly sick individuals if we are going to be setting up a blog with the purpose of hurting someone. We need to do some introspection, and you need to check yourself there. So this is the term flaming. Then we go in, further into this, and we start talking about computer criminals or cybercrime or computer crime. Now, this encompasses any illegal activity that uses a computer or a network, and this can include hacking, cracking, identity theft, financial theft, child trafficking, and pornography. Now, again, I know we're not involved in these things, but we need to understand what these things are. So we look at identity theft. Like, why do these criminals try to steal an identity? Well, it's simple. They want to access secret documents. They want to access valuable information. They want to access your money. They want to obtain credit or loans or buy goods by taking your identity. They want to perhaps spread false information, and maybe it's just to take that in order to commit a crime. And I'm going to touch on something with that. Then we have hackers and crackers, and there is a difference. Now, we know computer criminals, they are the ones who are going to break into computer systems, but just understand the difference between a hacker and a cracker. A hacker hacks through and breaks into a computer system for the prestige or the recognition. He just wants to show you that he can do it. He just wants to show others who said it's impossible to show them, no, well, it's actually very possible, and this is how I can do it. A cracker, on the other hand, doesn't do it for the prestige or recognition. They do it because they want to perform some sort of crime. They have the intention of committing crime. Now, fun fact, did you know that companies that specialize in computer security sometimes hire hackers to work for them? Why? Because the hackers find the loopholes. The hackers are able to find the weak points in their security systems, and they can then employ them to then take those weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Okay, but you need someone who actually knows what to look for. And this has happened many times. But please don't go and try that, because it might not be you. Okay, so we've looked at why they would steal the identity, and this is what I wanted to touch on. The punchline here is that you will be responsible for all the trouble they cause with your identity. Remember, it's your identity. Okay, so you need to protect your identity online and your documents as well. Police departments estimate that a large part of all cybercrime today involves some form of identity theft. I mean, I don't know if you've watched the movie, I think it was Identity Theft, something like that. And very funny what can happen, but not so funny when you are the victim. Now, the two most common ways that they commit this is through phishing and spoofing. And I just want to show you this quickly. Some of the latest cybercrime stats. So you can see that this is not some sort of pie-in-the-sky story. This is a real thing that takes place around the world. Look at this. The UK had the highest number of cybercrime victims per million internet users at 4,783 in 2022. That's up 40% over the 2020 figures. The country with the next highest number of victims per million internet users in 2022 was the USA, that had a 13% increase. 1 in 2 North American internet users had their accounts breached in 2021. 1 in 2 North American internet users. 2021, according to these stats, saw an average of $787,000 lost every hour due to these data breaches. Now, just try and convert that into rands. That is a huge sum of money every hour. Look at the UK. 32% of UK businesses reported suffering a cyber attack or breach in 2023. That was just last year. For medium businesses, this rises to 59%. 69% of large businesses reported an attack as well. And look at this. E-commerce fraud is expected to cost the retail sector $48 billion globally in 2023, and they're projecting that online payment fraud between 2023 and 2027 should be in the region of $343 billion. That is a massive amount of money, which means this is a massive industry, and this is why these criminals continue doing this. But I want to just remind you of something. This is why we've seen the huge upsurge of folks getting into cyber security, and why companies are looking for individuals who can help secure their data. They go further. How many people in the US are affected by cybercrime? An estimated 53 million citizens were affected by cybercrime in the first half of 2022. Between July 2020 and June 2021, the US was the most targeted country for cyber attacks, accounting for 46% of attacks globally. US citizens lost 6.9 billion. I don't want to hit you with a whole lot of stats, but I just want you to see that this is a real thing. Cybercrime is not some small thing. It is a massive, massive problem worldwide. Okay, so we have phishing and spoofing. So let's use the example of a bank. You've got a bank account, and these guys are trying to get your details. So phishing is a form of internet fraud which aims to obtain valuable financial information such as your credit card details, ID numbers, maybe your bank account details, your bank username and password, etc. Now, how do they do that? When we talk about phishing, you need to think about normal phishing. So when you fish, what do you have a rod. What are you going to do with it? You're going to throw out a line that has bait on it. So the bait can come in the form of an email coming to you from the bank. It could be an SMS that says, you know what, just update your details, click on the link provided, and enter your details. So they are trying to obtain your information. So they are throwing out bait, hoping that you are going to bite into this and click on that link and, respond to that email. Now, these two work together because spoofing is where these cyber criminals create a fake website. So now they've sent you the link, you click on it, and it takes you to a fake website that looks identical to the original site. However, this fake site is located on their server, these cyber criminals, and it is in no way linked to the real one. So you go into a site that looks exactly like the real one, you put in your details, but it's on their server, so who's getting that information? They are getting your username and password, and they can then use that to do what they want to. Now, again, there are different ways in which they try to steal your money, and here you can see, phishing, fake websites, fake virus alarms for you to buy protection software, bogus lottery winnings. Oh, this is an old one. They send you a message, they send you an email, they say you've won the lotto, you've won something where you just need to confirm your details. Folks, if you haven't entered a competition, you cannot win. Okay, you can't. What about employees? Like, how do the ordinary employees fit in? Now, employees have the easiest access to computers. These are the people who work at the workplace. So they have access to various systems and to certain rooms and to certain computers. They have access to the computer equipment, software, sensitive information. Computers can be stolen. Data can be stolen. Sensitive information can be stolen. And there's also the impact of revenge actions against perceived injustices by the company. So somebody does something, they get fired, and in a fit of rage because they've now been fired, they think, okay, well, I'm going to take all the computer data, or I'm going to load a virus. Like I know one guy in America did that. He was going to be fired. He loaded a virus that would only activate about a month or two after he left, and it wiped their servers clean. Okay, so yes, your employees can be a bit of a problem. And then we have organized computer crime. These are the dangerous guys. These sort of syndicates are involved in running spam businesses. These are the ones that are trying to organize to steal secrets, like from one company to another. Maybe it's blackmail. Copying and selling CDs and DVDs illegally. That used to be a big thing. They don't focus so much on that anymore, but it's still a crime. And then using computers to forge documents, passports. We see this in the movies, right? And they're using the ICT systems that are out there. Even just, printing fake banknotes and things like that. They do this within currency as well. So it's hectic. And one just needs to understand these things, know what to look for as well. And have a look at this. This I got on the PwC's Global Economic Crime and Fraud Survey in 2022, and they were looking at the type of external perpetrators, and here you can see folks that are going to be involved or that are doing these things. You've got 31% being hackers, 29% being the customers, 28% organized crime. Sometimes it could be a vendor or supplier, an agent, a competitor. someone who doesn't, like the fact that you're doing the same thing that they're doing, and so they try to, hurt you, put it that way, consultant, advisor, etc. So yes, folks, it is a bit of a dangerous world out there when it comes to all of this. But how can you prevent computer crime? Well, you need to now think of yourself. You need to make sure that on your devices you have antivirus software protection, right? Do you have antivirus software? Do you have firewall software? Are you encrypting your data so that no one can just go and open your stuff? Have you got backups in place? I mean, have a look at this. This I got from FNB, their website, where they are helping people, to stay safe when it comes to doing internet banking. And they say avoid public terminals for internet banking. So don't just go into any place and go do your internet banking, like, a public internet cafe or something like that. Only do your banking via a wireless hotspot if you are certain of the integrity of the connection. Ensure that you have an updated antivirus program. Watch out for phishing and spoofing, which is what we just spoke about. Select a user ID and password that cannot be easily guessed and change these regularly. And most people don't do that, right? Ensure the computer software is up to date. Make sure there's a padlock displayed on your browser to indicate that it is secure and it's verified, and obviously never provide your password over the internet by email or over the phone to anyone. And folks, that takes us to the end of module 1.8.